When Claire Morgan moved into the old Greenwick boarding house, she expected creaky floors and drafty nights. She did not expect the strange heaviness that filled the room after dark, settling around her like a thick blanket. She noticed it on the very first night. As she lay in the narrow twin bed, staring into the dim room, she became aware of something standing at the foot of the bed. At first, she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her. The moonlight spilled through the window in thin silver lines, barely enough to illuminate shapes. But the longer she stared, the more certain she became. Something shaped like a person was standing there, unmoving, tall, silent, featureless. Claire blinked once, quickly. The shape remained. She blinked again, slower this time, and still it did not go away. She told herself it was just the way the shadows fell. Old houses had strange corners, strange angles, strange ways of turning harmless darkness into unsettling shapes. "Just sleep," she whispered. But even as she closed her eyes, she could feel the weight of that shadow waiting in the darkness. On the second night, she looked for it immediately, and there it was in the exact same place. She sat up slowly, her breath caught in her chest. "What are you?" she whispered. There was no answer, but the air around it seemed to grow colder, heavier, as if the presence in the room had shifted its attention toward her. Claire kept her eyes open, wide, refusing to blink. Her eyes began to water and sting, trembling from the effort. Finally, the involuntary reflex came, a small blink, just a fraction of a second. But when her eyes opened again, the shadow had moved. Only a little, just enough to prove it had moved. Claire's heart thudded violently. She whispered to herself, "It moves, only when my eyes are closed." Fear settled deep into her bones. She did not sleep again until dawn. By the third night, she was shaking before she even turned the lights off. She angled her phone flashlight at the foot of the bed, hoping to drown the shadow out. But the moment darkness filled the room, the shadow appeared. This time it was closer. Not much, but enough to notice the suggestion of a head, shoulders, the outline of a tall figure standing perfectly still. "What do you want?" she whispered into the darkness. No response, but she could feel it listening. She lifted her phone and turned on the flashlight. The shadow vanished instantly. She lowered the phone. The shadow returned. It was waiting for her, watching her, testing her. She stayed awake for hours, but exhaustion eventually won. When she finally blinked, just for a second, she opened her eyes to find the shadow closer. So close she could see the dark suggestion of its head leaning toward her. She didn't sleep again that night. During the day, the house felt harmless. Sunlight made everything seem normal. Claire tried asking the landlady, Mrs. Pembry, about it. "Do you ever see strange shadows in this house?" The woman stirred her tea and smiled thinly. "Old houses have old shadows, dear." "No," Claire said. "I mean a shadow shaped like a person." For a moment, Mrs. Pembry's spoon paused mid-stir. She didn't meet Claire's eyes as she said, "Shadows only do what we let them." Claire didn't know what that meant, but it chilled her more than the shadow itself. On the fourth night, the shadow was right at the foot of the bed. Claire stared at it, refusing to blink. Her eyes burned. Hours crept forward, slow and torturous. When her eyelids finally slipped closed, even for an instant, something brushed the blanket near her feet. A faint pressure, like fingertips or a drifting